right. So right off the top, let me start by saying thank you guys for being here, checking us out. If you've never been here before, we are Super Picker Flippin' Duo. We've been doing this eBay stuff for over 12 years, full time. We've bounced back and forth between eBay and other platforms. We did focus on Amazon for a long time. We are no longer Amazon sellers. We were on Walmart for a while. We are no longer Walmart sellers. We've decided to go back to tried and true eBay full time. That's kind of where my passion is. I like to sell unique things. I like to sell things that that are nostalgic, that are new to me. I like learning about new things. So eBay is kind of my preferred place to sell because it's just that's where this stuff is sold. So you're going to see that a lot of the things I sell are kind of that everyday item stuff because we do source a lot of our inventory at thrift stores, but I do love finding that unique item, and eBay is the only platform that allows me to do that. That's why we're here. Thank you so much for watching us. Please do give us a like, comment if you feel like commenting. Ask any questions. I do respond to every comment that I can. I do take a lot of questions on our next video and answer those questions. And give us a subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when videos like this come on the air. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and let's jump right in. So first thing we sold on Friday, we go from Friday to Sunday, was this vintage thermos coffee butler carafe. This is the Krista. Krista does have that fluted side. Oh, and by the way, guys, this is a working environment. My wife Ashley is over on the other side of the shop here, going through inventory and organizing. We've got some new drawers that she's kind of packing stuff away in. So you're going to hear some background noise. We work this thing all day, every day. Like, we are always out here. This is our only space. This is our recording studio when we record at home. This is where we work. We do it all the time. So there is no YouTube time. There is no eBay time. It's all at the same time. So if you do hear background noise, I do apologize, but we are working at the same time. So this thermos mug, or carafe, I should say, was made in West Germany. So it was while the Berlin Wall was still up. Model number was 430. Took 17 days to sell, which actually for these items are not that bad. Usually it takes a little bit longer to sell. Bought it for $3. Sold it for $22 on a best offer. I had it up for $24.75, so we landed on a $22 price after some negotiations. Only $6.64 to ship it. Net return of $8.05 for a return on investment of 268%, which is not terrible. Would I like it to be a bit more? Sure, that's why I had it listed for $24.75, but $22 because it was not going too far away, is why I was fine to sell it at that price. I still had enough there to make a bit of money. So this Jansport Trans Purple Plaid Backpack, found this one at the bins about 2 weeks ago. Took us 12 days to sell it. Sold it for $22.50, which was our full asking price. I put a $2 purchase price on there because it's $1.89 a pound at our bins. So I figured it's just over a pound for this backpack. There's really nothing to it. Cost us $6.43 to ship it, so it didn't go very far. Net return of $9.62. So another 12 days on a pretty decent sale, and it's not really, I wouldn't say it's back to school time or anything like that. So for a backpack this time of year to sell that fast is a pretty good deal for for us. So, all right, this Parcheesi board game, the Animal Edition from 2001. This was, I made a very short rant video about this game with the buyer going back and forth, and they just, lowballed me at first, and I came back with a reasonable offer. And then I came down to $37.50, and I said, that's the best that I'm going to do because I know this game is going to sell. I know this game sells. If I were to price it at $37.50, I would have sold it within the hour. So I knew it was going to sell. So I said $37.50, that's it. And then after, back and forth for probably 45 minutes, he said, fine, I'll do the $37.50. Can I pay you on whatever day it was, the 26th or 27th, which is today, okay, fine. That's, I get it. It's only a couple of days, but this is a hot item. I'm not going to hold on to an item for you to get paid. Like, this isn't layaway, like I said in that video. Like, I don't hold items. Like, have the money ready when you're making me an offer. And that's the setting in my store. Anyway, you have to have the money and you have to pay right away when the offer is accepted. So if you can't do that, then why are we even talking? So I told that story to tell you this. This sold about 20 minutes after I made that video. I hadn't posted the video yet, but after I was done making that video and editing and all that, and I had it ready to go, this sold. So, yeah. So I think negotiating with the buyer, going back and forth with offers does help your visibility. Because this sold for $45, which was my sale price. I had it up for $60 to knock it down to $45 at 25% off. And in 19 hours, less than a day, it sold. So bought it for $4. I think I bought it for $3, but I'm putting $4 on all of my games, just because that's about the average price. Now, if I do, like if I buy like a Mindflex or a Scrabble Deluxe or another game that's typically like $8, $10, like I'll put that price on there. But for these smaller, like more generic board games, I'm just going to put a flat $4. I may pay $2, $3, I may pay $5, but it averages out to about $4, and that's going to cover any bubble wrap, poly bags, things like that as well. So we've got all that covered in there as well. Cost of ship on this was $7.53 for a net return of $24.37. And that's the kind of sale that I want to see, like every sale, basically. So, all right. This is another game that didn't take all that long to sell. 1999 Chutes and Ladders board game. This was the first Chutes and Ladders that we've ever bought. So I did put the actual price on there of $3. That's what we paid for it. So there's nothing to average out there. Now the next one, we'll start to average these prices out. Cost of ship on this was $8.62. Net return of $9.33 for a return on investment of 311%, which those numbers are right in line with where we want to be every single sale. So as long as we could do that every time, then we are having a good week. As long as we get sales. Like that was our issue this week. Our issue was not we were selling stuff too cheap or anything like that, or shipping costs were too high. It was just slow. This vintage Sorry from 1998 sold this guy for $26.25. Took 6 days to sell. Purchase price of $4. Cost of ship $8.62. Net return $8.56. Return on investment 214%. Again, that's just your bread and butter type game. Now this Scrabble Deluxe Braille Edition, this was from, I want to say 1949. I didn't put that in the title, and I should have. But it was I want to say it's the first edition of the Braille version of the Scrabble game. Each tile has Braille on it, the Braille bumps. The instructions are all in Braille, like everything. It's made for a blind person to play and enjoy, which I love. And I know that they still make this game. It's not marketed as well as I think it should be. Like, you can't just go into Walmart and buy these things. You have to buy them through a dealer, like somebody that's in the like medical field. So I think they could do a better job of that. I sold this game at what a new one would sell today, so I didn't mark it up for it being a vintage collectible. I just wanted somebody else to enjoy it, but I wanted to make money on it, of course, because that's what I do. But I didn't mark it up any, even though I probably could have. I probably could have sold this for $80 if I held out. But I priced it at 80 to drop it to 60. It took 14 days to sell because, again, you're looking for a very specific buyer with this one. And it did sell in 2 weeks. Bought it for $5. Cost me $8.71 to ship it. Net return of $35.29. So good price. I made good money on it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't make good money on it. But I'm glad it went to somebody and I didn't pay that. I didn't, how should I put it? I didn't charge them any more than what they would pay if they were to go to whatever site to buy the brand new one, because they retail at 60 for the most current version. So we've got next this Logitech 3-speaker set, Z5300 THX. We've got the center speaker, and then it was like the left front and the right rear, or vice versa. Like, it was a weird setup of speakers. But it sold in 29 minutes, so super fast. Paid $12 for it. This was out of the Salisbury, Maryland Goodwill. Paid $60, sold it in 29 minutes for paid 12, sold it in 29 minutes for 60. So yeah, we will do that every single time. Cost of ship was only $6.91. It went super close. I think it went to Maryland, which is weird. So net return of $30.24. And I mean, the return on investment's only 252%, which is why you can't really harp on that number, because you're putting 12 out to get 30 back in a half an hour. I mean, any way you dice that, that's worth it. There's no feeling sorry for anybody for that kind of return that fast. So next we've got this vintage Stanley brand potato masher. I put white and red handle. It's actually a cornucopia with some, looks like cherry tomatoes on there or something, which is weird for a potato masher. But sold this guy for $15 free shipping. Took about 2 months. Paid $1 for it. Cost me $5.27 to ship it. Net return of $5.64. So it just sits in a bucket, and when I sell it, I just pick it out of the bucket, or Ashley picks it out of the bucket, and it goes. What I do to ship these is give it a good bubble wrap, and then I take a box flap, when you cut down a box to size for a different item, and you can save a flap, cut the flap off, save those. This one took a larger flap, but then you just wrap this masher, in the flap, and then it's like you're boxing it, and then you stick it in a poly bag to send out. And the whole thing, it was like 7 or 8 ounces, so it really was not heavy. If I would have put it in a box, it'd probably be 10 to 12 ounces. So saved a bit of weight there. Only cost us $5.27 to ship it. So good deal. this GE alarm clock, I'm surprised sold this fast. This is model 4613C from the 80s. It's got that wood grain, so you know it's fancy. Sold this guy for $33 free shipping. Now that's the price that I put on there, expecting to put it on sale for $24.95. So it sold before it could catch the sale. Sold in 2 hours. I have no idea why. I just right place, right time. Had thrown this thing up. Somebody was on there looking at for a GE alarm clock. I also, with my alarm clocks now, I'm putting short 10-second videos on there, just showing them with a local radio station that it works, right? There's music coming out of it. You might not like the song. Probably won't. I think it was like Maroon 5 or something, which God knows you're not going to like that. But it works, right? So the person that bought this has that peace of mind that it's guaranteed to work. Like I'm showing you that it's working. So yeah, so it cost me $8.65 to ship it. Net return of $15.14, 505% return on investment. And we get to jump to the last page because that's how slow this weekend was. This vintage 1974 Bowl and Score dice game. Similar to Yahtzee. Took about a month to sell. This game is cool if you like bowling, but you don't like swinging your arm. And you just want to throw some dice and keep score like you're bowling. But you don't want to actually do the bowling. This game's for you. Paid $2. Cost of ship was only $5.93 because it was first class. It was like 12 ounces, I want to say. Net return of $7.14. So not bad for a month for a pretty obscure game that not many people are going to be looking for. Kind of a generic game too. Like there's nothing really special about it. This Pampered Chef measure, mix, and pour salad dressing mixer maker. Pampered Chef is just one of those brands. Anytime you see Pampered Chef, look it up. You'll get to know the stuff that you don't need to look up, like those bread things, those cylinders. The tubes. You don't need to look that stuff up. I mean, you can if you want to, just for practice. But most everything else, it's worth pulling out your phone and figuring out what it is and if it sells. These things we find all the time for $1, $2. That's really about it. And I sold this guy for $20.25, which was our sale price. Listed it for $27, put it on sale for $20.25, and it sold. Took about 12 days, and cost of ship was $5.39 because it's light, easy, bubble wrap, poly bag, good to go. $8.94 net return, good to go. I would keep 20 of those in stock if I could. This Maybelline, we're running out of these. Expert Wear Eye Shadow, Slate Blue. We're getting down to the last of these. I bought a couple of boxes of these in all different shades a while ago. And they actually came in, a lot of them damaged. So I had complained to the supplier and they refunded me like half of my money. So I was able to buy these super, super cheap. About 13 cents per listing is what I put on these because I think my original cost was like $60 for both boxes. It was like $30 a box and there was like, I don't know, 200-300 units in each box. Like it was cheap. And then, I got half of that back. So even cheaper. Like it's stupid cheap. Basically free. So cost of ship on these $5.52, net return $3.17. Again, like these were not purchased for eBay to begin with. These were bought to sell on Amazon, I believe. But the condition that they were in was not suitable for Amazon to sell in new. So we had to then convert our thinking, because you can't return this stuff when you buy it. Like, if you're buying from a wholesaler, it's, as is in whatever condition. So, and of course, they're going to show you their pictures when you're buying online of the best units that they have in that lot. So that's usually the best, and then everything else is variable condition. So yeah, so we had to list basically everything on eBay, which, because of the situation of, the damage and the return, and even if it wasn't, even if we had to list every single piece, we bought it so cheap, it's fine. Like, it just took a long time to get through it. So, but it sits in a drawer, and we just pull pieces out as we sell them, and it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind thing. And just when it sells, we go in that drawer and pick a piece out and throw it in a bag. This MSI motherboard with the heatsink and some extra pieces. Bought this for $10 from a Goodwill about 2 months ago. Sold it for $60, free shipping. I know nothing about computer parts. I just know this thing makes the computer go. Can't do anything without it. I don't know what kind of condition it's in. I was very explicit about that. I put C-pics. I took pictures up close of every quadrant of this item, like everything. So hopefully whoever bought this was super, super clear about what they're getting, because I have no idea. So I just knew based on the lettering, like you can see the MSI here, there was another KT8 Neo V over here, like in here. And this one also had the box with it, so I did have that as well. And like the extras, I don't know what they are. I don't build computers. Like, I wear glasses, but I'm not a computer guy, right? So, and anyway, moving on. Cost me $10.70 to ship it. Did, of course, ship in a box. Net return of $31.93. All good. All good in the hood. And we're moving on to this Honeywell non-programmable thermostat. Bought this for $6.25 out of Goodwill. This was up in Wilmington, I believe. Took 5 days to sell, so it's a little quick. $26.25. Which was the sale price, down from $35, right? Yep, $35. Cost $6.15 to ship it. There's really nothing to ship here, just bubble wrap and bag. Net return of $8.79. So not a great return, but I mean, it's a quick flip. 5 days for a super generic product. That's a good flip. I mean, it's not, nothing super crazy exciting, but it's okay, This new in the box, but the box is damaged, of course, you see here. Bates covered view desk index card file. It's basically a Rolodex, but it's Bates brand. So it took me 28 days to sell this at $26.25. Bought it for $3. Cost me $6.79 to ship it. Net return of $11.49. And I did take it out of the box and showed, in the pictures, like, it is brand new. So, customer should be happy with that. Next up, we've got this Fisher Price Linkimals Narwhal. The Narwhal, I think, is the best-selling Linkimals. Well, we really haven't had the first sloth. We've only had one, and that sold really fast. The penguins sell well, but sometimes they take a bit. Narwhals sell fast, and they sell for decent money. So, yeah, so I'm going to say the narwhals are the best ones to grab. Of course, the penguins, the sloths, and the owls are good. Koalas take a while, and hedgehogs take a while. And there might be something else that I'm missing. But yeah, anyway, this one took 2 days to sell. Bought it for $3. Sold it for $28. Cost of ship was $8.71. Net return of $10.59. Return on investment 353%. Yeah, anytime you can find Linkimals, anything Fisher Price. Always look up anything Fisher Price, because you just never know. Like vintage Fisher Price always, typically does well. Even like vintage, like just 15 years ago, vintage stuff does well. So we've got this vintage, speaking of vintage, Norelco 4-cup replacement carafe in the box. I didn't put new because I didn't know. So I can't guarantee it, so I'm not going to put it. This thing took 4 months to sell. And I took a best offer of $21 from $22.50. So even when I'm negotiating with people or, dealing with offers, I'm not too far off of my list price. Like, I think I'm pretty fair with my list price, so I don't really have to drop too far off of my list price to get the sales. Now, sometimes you're going to deal with people that, want to buy a $30 item for $10. They don't care if it costs you anything to ship it. Like, that's just the way they are. But, you still deal with those people, make your offers because it boosts visibility. But typically when you're selling something on best offer, when we're not having to drop our prices too much. So paid $4 for this guy. Cost of ship was $8.62, so our net return was $4.24. Not the best sale in the world. Wouldn't buy another one, but we still made some money on it. It's not like it was a total loss. So, all right, Cranium Hullabaloo took 22 hours to sell this guy. Sold it for $33.75. Purchase price was $4. Not bad. Cost of ship was $6.37. Net return of $17.09. Hullabaloos are very good games to buy. However, the electronic component is typically corroded. Very rare that we find one that's not corroded. And those pads are typically frayed or bent or mangled in some sort of way. So this game is played with hard. But that's what you're supposed to do with it. Like, you're supposed to stomp on it and all of that. You're not supposed to corrode the battery compartment. That's not a component of the game. But you're supposed to play with it pretty hard. So, it's good. They're gonna be rough. So finding one in decent condition is gonna be tough. But if you can take it out of the box, if you find one in the thrift store, I highly advise it. So this one took 22 hours to sell. So $17.09 net returns, pretty good for 22 hours. All right, moving on. Where are we? Original catchphrase. Bought this guy for $4. Sold it for $28.50. Took 9 days to sell. Catchphrase is just one of those games. They're just good. Just good. Just buy them. $7.57 to ship it. $11.51 net return. Yeah. If I would have listed this for $27, I probably could have sold it quicker. And that's something I'm gonna start to consider. Like, do I start dropping my prices a bit just to kind of make up for how slow it is, to try to move some stuff quicker, particularly in the board game category? because we're not in fourth quarter anymore, so it might be time to start getting competitive again. I don't know. I've got to start looking at what the market is doing there. So as we list games going forward, I really got to pay attention to what is currently listed, not so much what I sold stuff for in recent history. So that may start moving things a little bit quicker. So, all right, we've got these vintage Thinsulate winter gloves with the blue-black chevron and white and silver, but I couldn't fit all those colors. Sold this guy for $15 free shipping. That was not the sale price. Sale price was $16.50, so come in at $15 and we're halfway through winter. Yeah, we're gonna take that offer. Took 2 months to sell. I thought these would sell quicker because I thought $16.50 for a pair of vintage gloves. I remember wearing gloves like this as a kid going outside to build my snow forts and stuff. So bought them for $3. Cost me $6.24 to not shit. Net return of $2.72. So not great there. Not great all around. But what are you gonna do? You know, sometimes you just don't. You think you've got something decent. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be a, oh my God, I struck gold. But I thought, I could at least double up here and quick. Just didn't work out. All right, this Krupp's Aroma Control coffee maker, model 229. Took about a month to sell this guy at $67.50. Bought it for $6, which is great. Cost me $11.03 to ship it, which is fine. Shipped it in a Walmart small box, which is 17 inches long by 11 inches wide, and then we cut the box down. Net return of $38.09. So, yeah. Not bad. For a month. That's a pretty typical on coffee makers. And we've got this White Mountain Bird's Eye View puzzle. Don't see these very often. Took about 2 months to sell. Sold it for $35, which was our full price. It was relisted for $35, and it sold at that price. Bought it for $8, which was high. I should not have spent $8 on this puzzle. I'm glad I sold it for $35 instead of the $26.25. Cost me $9.79 to ship it, so it didn't ship particularly close. Net return of $12.39. So thank God I sold it for $35. All right, vintage 1980s Marlboro. Thank you for shopping here. Door decal with the Marlboro Man. We sold this one for $15 free shipping. I've got a purchase price of $1 on these. I bought these at an auction of a person recently deceased that was an ad executive for the Philip Morris agency. So they're the advertising agency that took care of all the Marlboro stuff. They did all the Marlboro, their point systems and their print ads and their signage and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, he had a ton of Tobacciana stuff. So we sold through a ton. I mean, he had like anything you could think of that like you could collect Marlboro points for, like all the bags, the hats, t-shirts, jackets, the luggage tags, belt buckles, all that kind of stuff. We had all that kind of stuff that we've sold through, and now we've got some signage left, some like vintage tin signs. We've got a couple of these decals left, and I think that's about it. So we're getting down to it. We have had these listed for 3 months. These sat in the basement for about a year. Put a purchase price of $1 a piece on these. It's probably a little bit less. Cost me $5.77 to ship it. How I ship these, because they're about, I don't know, 19 inches long and then probably 8 inches wide, maybe 10 inches wide. Just roll them up, and then I save the tubes from the bubble wrap, and I just roll them up, put them in those tubes, polybag the tubes, and out the door they go. That's it. Don't have to do anything else. So net return of $5.13, which, I mean, I've got a small stack of these, so to sell them at $15 a piece, I'm happy to do that. That's fine. All right, this vintage Revereware 3-quart saucepan with the copper bottom. Sold this for $33.75 free shipping, which is our sale price. Took 15 days to sell, so 2 weeks to sell. Revereware is fine. That's about where I want to be to sell any kind of pots and pans. We do want to keep that stuff moving because it is kind of bulky. So we do price it fairly well to get it moving. Yeah, so that's that. It cost me $7.14 to ship this guy, $16.29 net return, for 407% return on investment. So good to go there. This LL Bean men's size 12 brown leather waterproof duck boots. We had these. We thought we had them listed for a couple months. And they were just kind of sitting in the bottom of a tote. And we didn't realize that eBay delisted them for whatever reason. So we were just going through and spot checking inventory and moving stuff around to different totes and making room and all this kind of stuff. And these weren't listed. So we pulled them out, put them in our, need to take picture and list pile, or on that rack. Pictured them. 3 days later, they sold for $45, which was our sale price. So, oh no, sorry, it was not. We had this listed at $70 to mark them down to $52.50. Somebody came in with a best offer of $45, and I was just like, "Yep, see ya, fine." Paid $8 for them, so $45 is just fine. Looking at comps on these, I comped them out right at $50, so I thought at $52.50 I could get a best offer and negotiate down to $50, but once that offer came in at $45, I'm like, I'm not going to push it. Just get them gone. That's fine. Cost $9.66 to ship it for a net return of $18.17. So that is where we want to be. Just fine. All right, this Heroes of Gujitsu action figure. This is the Airvac Orbitox. Took 2 weeks to sell, 16 days. Sold it for $37.50. I got offers on these for $20, for like $24, for $15, and I'm like, no, like, I can go and see what these things sell for. Like, I know I'm good at $37.50, and eventually it sold. Like, I went back with somebody, I'm like, I'll sell it to you for $33, and they didn't want it for $33, and I'm like, well, okay, that's I'm not gonna go any cheaper than that. Like, I can get $37.50. I just have to wait for the person to buy it, and they did. So cost of ship was $5.93, net return of $19.46. So all good there. We've got this Tomy Tricky Bill Classic board game, complete with both balls. This is also known as Snafu or Screwball Scramble. This one has Tricky Bill and Screwball Scramble. One side's Tricky Bill, the other side's Screwball Scramble. You can see it's Screwball Scramble on the instructions. You see Tricky Bill up here and then Screwball Scramble there. It's all the same game. It's known as Snafu. That was like the first iteration, I think. The the board here was orange, and yeah, but it's all the same obstacles. Um, Took 25 days to sell this. Bought it for $375, sold it for $28.50. Cost me $11.45 to ship it, so I think it went to Arizona or something. Net return of $7.94. Not great because of the shipping, but what are you gonna do? Vintage memory board game. Nothing special about this game. It's not like a Toy Story or Peanuts or whatever, Mickey Mouse, Winnie the Pooh, like whatever's from that era. It's not that. This is just a regular memory board game. I put a purchase price of $4 on it because it took 2 games to complete this one. Sold it for $24.75. Net return of $9.08. Return on investment $2.27. So the first one that we bought, the cards were just a little rough. One of the cards was actually either bent really bad or like retaped or something like that. It just wasn't good. So we didn't want to sell it in that condition. We held on to it, but I put my purchase price, my cost of goods to cover both of those games. So we made our money back on both of those. Last but not least, Monopoly Electronic Banking from 2011. Took 2 hours to sell this guy. This game sells fast. Nothing really else to say about it. I don't know. It's a good game. Bought it for $4, sold it for $30 in 2 hours. Cost to ship it $7.17. Net return $13.15. This is another game where typically the electronic component is corroded. So, folks, if you don't resell and you just happen to be watching this for whatever reason, I have no idea, take your damn batteries out of your electronics, please. Help us resellers out. That would be great. Thank you. This has been a public service announcement from Super Picker Flippin' Duo. All right, let's get into numbers. This weekend, only $915 in gross sales. Slowest weekend we have ever had since doing this channel. Net sales of $404. So just not very good. And like I said, it could be snowstorm. It could be our inventory. Because our inventory is heavily geared towards fourth quarter, Christmas stuff, toys, games, that kind of thing. So, maybe we have to switch gears and get into, more. What are the adults buying? What are the adults buying? I don't know. Maybe. Average gross per sale, $31.53. Average net per sale, $13.02. That's all right. That's where we've been. That's all in line. It's just the number of sales is what's down. Net profit margin of 44%. Again, that's, cost of goods sold, $122. 29 sales. That's down a lot. I mean, I couldn't even average 10 per day over the 3 days of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Average time to sell of 30 days. That's great. That's really good. Return on investment, 330% is good. Like I said, it's just that 29 sales. I mean, it was just dreadfully slow. All right, let's look at the month. We're at 87.65, so we'll come over here to our little spreadsheet goal tracker. I don't know why that recovery is on there. It just is. All right. I don't even know how to get rid of it. I stink at computers. It's just there. Here, close. there. All right. So we only did for this week 1521. $1,521 for the week, which if you compare that to the previous week of $2,800, I mean, that's nearly half. We dropped almost 50% from one week to the next. That's scary. That's like 45% drop. Somewhere between 40 and 45% drop. That's crazy. Scary. But it should rebound, I'm thinking. Although there's another snowstorm coming this weekend, so we'll see. I don't know. As far as our stretch goal goes of $10,000, we're at 8765, so we're only 1235 off of our stretch, so we should hit that next week unless it gets even slower, which, God, I hope not. I really hope not. That would be paralyzing. It really would be. So yeah, I mean, slow week, but still our sales were, our numbers, our per sale numbers are where they typically are. Just not as many people out on eBay buying our stuff. So we have to look at why. So that's going to be the project of the next day or two if sales don't start to rebound. Yeah. Such is life as a business owner. This is retail. Retail is ups and downs. We're down right now, but we'll come back up. It's bound to happen. Just hope it happens sooner than later. So, all right, guys, that's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe, all the happy horseshit. We will catch you next time.